I'm Buddy. I play trombone in the band Less Than Jake.
Well, I'm in the same band.
Oh my God! Did you guys know you're gonna be here today?
Yeah, we did.
Okay.
I'm the bass player. My name's Roger. Yeah.
Yeah, you,
Complete coincidence. I didn't know he was going to be here.
oh my God! We should
got
form
lucky.
a band. Let's do it. So, who were your big influences growing up? Who got in your blood that said, "Man, I got to do that"?
Yeah, there's a lot of kind of phases of that, you know. Like I was kind of lucky. I was exposed to a lot of music growing up, and I was into like AC/DC and like Def Leppard and like that sort of era of hard rock at a really, really young age. I mean, Iron Maiden was my favorite band. I had my own Iron Maiden records when I was 11 years old because my mom was cool. So, and then it kind of, it kind of morphed into some of the faster stuff like the Anthrax and the SODs, and then that for me became how I got into punk rock, is through bands like Anthrax and SOD.
Crossover metal band.
The DRI, sort of DRI was sort of on that edge of being a thrash metal, but punk. I don't know.
Right, they mixed it all up.
Still listen to it.
And that's how I got
It was
into.
fast. It was hard.
Yeah, man. That's how I got into Descendants and all the SST era punk rock,
Black
and then
Flag.
Lookout, and Black Flag. I mean, there you go. That was how I got
And then
in.
here we are on Fat Records somehow.
Wow, amazing.
We actually, this is an interesting story about Fat. Is
Yes.
that when we first started as a band, we sent like our first stuff to them, and we got like the Fat form letter back that was like, maybe don't quit your day jobs. Like, we actually wanted to say that, and make it into a shirt like years later while we were on Fat.
You got to show it off, man. It's a badge of honor.
Exactly.
To persevere through this business over the years. What keeps inspiring you?
The internet is now the only
Jim
inspiration
Beam?
for people. Yeah, Jim. Jameson. What other kind of whiskeys are there?
I mean, there's no more fun than playing rock and roll, right?
Yeah, I mean, we're kind of a band that we really do thrive on that live show experience and the interaction and the energy that goes on between the band and the crowd. I mean, if the barricade's 12 feet long, it gets a little hard to feel it at some of these big festivals, but, a lot of times...
The give and take on that, though, is like sometimes at Reading, the barricade's way out there, but there's 80,000 people jumping to your song, so that's still
that interaction's still there. So.
You got to look past the security guys.
Yeah, exactly. We get to do both, though. That's what's really cool about our band, is that, we'll go to Japan to some small town and still play to like 100 people or whatever in like this little club, and there's no barricade. We're right there in their faces. Then, like, a month later, we fly to England and play to 80,000 people or something. It's like, the fact that we get to still do both of those things is pretty cool.
Do you prepare for either? Is the show whether there's 3 or 30,000?
Sometimes, though, actually, when there's less people, like we did Project Revolution in 2004, where we opened the main stage or whatever, and so it was an amphitheater, so there were all the seated parts, like the people just hadn't gotten there yet, because we played at like 4:30, so most of those people like got there at like 5 or 6.
Right.
And so we're playing to like our fans were up on the lawn or whatever, but that inspires you to like lights a fire under your butt to like really like
you got to reach
further, because you got to get those 6 people that are in the crowd right there like inspired, So sometimes when there's more people, it's actually, it still works. When there's more people, they're just going to fire you up. But like when there's not as many, we have to get even more charged up. And it's kind of it's a little kick to the butt to like make it happen.
That's great. Well, I know the band's been through a long, varied history. How many times have you been on the Warped Tour?
Well, officially we've been on 7 full Warped Tours, but we've also done the first Australian Warped Tour.
This was also a full Warped Tour.
It was a full Warped Tour in '99, and we did the European Warped Tour in '99. We also did the Road to Warped Tour last year, and we've done half of another chunk of Warped Tour. I was going to put it to you like this. On this Warped Tour 2014, we were going to play our 365th show of Warped Tour.
It's our 1-year birthday. We've actually completed a whole full circle around the sun.
There you go.
Yeah, there's no other band comes
and that's
really.
not counting days off either. That's just show days.
Yeah, there's few that can challenge that record.
No, we're easily above. We're definitely getting a trophy.
There were points where we're like,
so speaking of trophies, surviving 20 years of this madness, what kind of trophy and accolades do we deserve to give to Kevin Lyman?
Oh man, it's insane. I mean, from finding sponsors to arranging these sites and building relationships with these promoters.
To just still riding around on his beach cruiser like earlier.
Sure.
I saw him cruising his beach cruiser earlier.
Feed 1,000 people a day 3 times.
I saw some dudes like their gear toppled over the other day. He's like picking it up.
Oh sure.
Like he's still like a part of the tour. I mean, a lot of people that start something like this, they'll move on from it and let everyone else just handle it.
Yeah, they'll phone it in.
Something else, or exactly.
Yeah, he's very hands-on.
He likes to be here because things still go wrong, and I talked to him the first day about that. He's like, I just got to be out here, man. Because he's left before and like gone home for weeks and stuff. And something always goes wrong. He's like, I got to fly back out there. So he likes to be in the mix for sure. So he definitely deserves a trophy.
Man. It's insane.
Yeah,
it's a culture that he's built, and some kids have never in their lives not had Warped Tour. You know?
Yeah.
And that's
part of their summer.
To them. It's important to them. You know?
It's just like a summer break.
Almost our whole career. Like, you know, we started as a band in '92, but the first Warped Tour we did was '97. And so, you know, at the time we were like, man, we've been a band forever, but it was only 5 years. And we've been a band, you know, 52 years now. So we've been on this thing.
Well, what we've seen,
been a part of our lives.
What we've seen outside of him is just the corporate nature. Everybody gobbled each other up. You got these giant promoters that kind of jam stuff down your throat. But to him, it's still about the music. It's about the fans.
He still picks all the stuff I like.
If the fans aren't feeling it, it doesn't matter what the sponsors say.
Yeah, and it's for picking the bands too. He knows how to pick a band that's going to be popular.
You know, it's a platform where the bands that are willing to work and really bring it on stage, they're going to shine and they're going to grow beyond the tour. You know, and he recognizes that. Like, so many of these bands out here, I don't know what we were talking about. If we had to like be on the Warped Tour now, I don't know how we would compete. These kids work out here.
Yeah, we were talking about this the other day. We keep parking where we can see everybody kind of loading in and stuff. We're just watching these like young bands with their little carts with like small wheels. Like they need the off-road wheels in some of these places. And they're like stacked with crap and it's like falling over.
Right, it's a lot of work.
But you know, they're 22-year-old bodies can handle that. We were like, oh god, my back's hurting just watching them.
Well, it's a pleasure seeing you guys persevering. What advice do you give to that young band? Because they're going to come up and they're going to say, man, you guys were my band growing up.
I used to have
I want to be doing what you're doing. What do you tell them?
My advice now is quit. There's too many other bands. Too much competition, and we need to still be a band.
Just sell your equipment on Craigslist. I'll buy it if it's cheap enough. And then, you know.
But if they say F you, man, I'm doing it. What do they got to concentrate on?
Absolutely. Still doing it.
I think honestly, it's just to try not to latch on to sort of like a trend thing and
don't follow.
Maybe, but
do what you like, not what's popular.
I think we've been lucky in the sense that we actually love our songs, and although we were in some sort of ska punk movement in the late '90s, you know, we generally love playing them, and I think that we're lucky for that. And if I would say that to any young band, it's like make sure that what you're doing you actually mean, because you might be playing these songs for 20 years.
Yeah, and also don't rely on the internet. Get in a band, go play in front of people. That's what's really important. Don't be like, my play is on Facebook or whatever.
Yeah, don't focus everything on Twitter and Facebook.
Yeah, or just in the studio. It's not all about that. It's about getting out and actually playing those songs with people and interacting.
It's a balance. Having great music, great exposure, fan base,
but exchange, like we were talking about earlier, between the fans and the band, like that has to mean something. Otherwise, you'll just be another one of those. And these days, that's really important because you'll just be another like. Music is disposable now. People just like listen to it for 30 seconds, then drag it to their trash. And then listen to it for 30. I used to get a CD, open up the liner notes, read all the lyrics. It was like a whole experience. Now it's like
listen to it all the way
listen
through.
Listen to it on Spotify for 20 seconds.
Yeah.
And then I hate this band.
Listen to the whole album. When it got over, you hit start again.
Yeah, exactly. So like that live experience is important for people these days. Like if you connect with the fans and you have like an exchange, that's like that means something more than all the Pro Tools you can do to your record.
Hey, this is Roger.
Hey, I'm Buddy. We're both in Less Than Jake.
We've been in a band for 22 years. Got to work at it, got to keep going, but try out that indie power thing, use that independent power. Make it